Republican from Louisiana and a member of the Tea Party. Good to see you.
Good morning, Chris.
So I'm thinking, this is what I've heard from the Tea Party since the Tea Party was formed. Cut, cut, cut. If this cuts the deficit by $3 trillion, is this a good thing?
Well, it really doesn't do that, Chris. What it does is it hurts the economy worse. Ultimately, it will lower revenues. We don't have an undertax problem, Chris, in Washington. We have an overspending problem.
Is there, though, a real disconnect with most of America that's really hurting congressmen, and we're seeing through loopholes, through funny accounting, through all the ways that people who have money to hire accountants spend a fraction, percentage-wise, give the government a fraction of their income compared to what middle America does?
Well, again, if you go after the higher income earners, you're also going after the job creators.
Okay, explain this to me, because I'm truly trying to figure this out. I'm not an economist, and I don't own businesses, and I know that you do.
Yes.
But aren't we talking about taxing people who are making personally, their personal wealth, $1 million and more a year? How does that hurt them from their business, which is successful, and we know that businesses are making more money than they have been in a very long time when you look at the corporate earnings?
Yes.
How does that stop them from hiring people?
Right. The answer is no, for two reasons. Number one, this actually raises taxes on those making $200,000 and more, and then an additional tax on those who make $1 million or more. Most small businesses in this country today are taxed at the individual level, S corporation, LLC. So whatever is cut out of those earnings is money taken out of capital for reinvestment, for creating more jobs, opening up more locations. So the more you tap that down, the less jobs that are going to be created.
But that is still separate from their own personal income.
No, it's all mixed together.
Well, you can't use you still have to file a personal income tax. If you're taking a salary from a business you own, those taxes are separate from your personal income tax.
That really isn't how it works, Chris. What happens is, in my own case, on LLCs, the income flows to my personal tax return, and whatever is left over after taxes are paid, I feed my family on the one hand, and on the other hand, I reinvest in my business.
Well, with all due respect, Congressman, the Wall Street Journal estimated that your businesses, which I believe are Subway sandwich shops and UPS stores, very successful, brought you last year $6 million.
Yeah, that's before you pay 500 employees, you pay rent, you pay equipment and food. The actual net income of that was only a mere fraction of that amount.
So you're saying that if you have to pay more in taxes, you would get rid of some of those employees? These are not as successful businesses.
I would say that since my net income, and again, that's the individual rate that I told you about, the amount that I have to reinvest in my business and feed my family is more like $600,000 of that $6.3 million. And so by the time I feed my family, I have, maybe $400,000 left over to invest in new locations, upgrade my locations, buy more equipment.
You do understand, Congressman, that the average person out there who's making $40,000, $50,000, $60,000 a year, when they hear that you only have $400,000 left over, it's not exactly a sympathetic position. You understand that?
Well, again, class warfare has never created a job. And that's people that will not get jobs. This is all about creating jobs, Chris. This is not about attacking people who make certain incomes. In this country, most people feel that being successful in their businesses is a virtue, not a vice. And once we begin to identify it as a vice, this country is going down.
Well, Congressman, it's good of you to come in. Are you open to hearing what the president has to say?
Oh, absolutely.
All right. Well, we'll talk again, I'm sure. Congressman Fleming, thank you so much. We do appreciate it. Let me go back to Ezra.